Salut coders, this is Pisky here. Welcome back to another tutorial. Warm greetings to those who are joining us for the first time. In this tutorial, I want to show you how you can create a streaming live app like YouTube, like Facebook. So I'll go through this Docker image that I extended from Triangolo, whereby we are going to store the HOS files into S3 bucket, and we will be able to scale up our application. We are going to create an RTMP server, whereby it's a real-time messaging protocol whereby you can transmit videos, audios in real time. So I'm going to show you how to set up this. So I have created this Docker image. You can go through these Docker images and you can extend it, you can modify it. It's an open source and you can do your things, and we are going to use OBS Studio for live streaming, and then these live stream files are going to be stored in the S3 buckets. So you can see the motivation was from Triangolo, whereby he was not using S3 bucket. So I renamed my Docker image to be S3FS, whereby we are using this library, S3FS, to store the files, HOS files into the S3 bucket, so that you can stream and you can add CloudFront, so that you can scale up to millions of people who can watch your stream. So that's why it motivated me to create a streaming application in open source for you. So you can visit this GitHub link whereby I did the logic to add S3, to mount the S3 bucket into the Docker container. And this is the Docker image, which is open here. So to use this, I have a Docker Composer YAML whereby you can set up the AWS access keys, secret keys, the bucket name, and the region. And you can also use with the VOS or OBS Studio. And to connect to OBS, you just add your RTMP server URL here, and you can replace here with the local host, because I'm testing on the local, and the port, which is 1935, and add this live. That's all. And then you can add a key. So the key is the name of the file that is going to be created as an HOS, which contains the other files that are going to be streamed. So if it's a test, it will be of this format. It will be test.m3u8. So that's the protocol that we are using, HLS. Then we are using AWS and CloudFront. So you enter your bucket, your bucket name here, and the region that you are going to use, and this test which we added here when you are creating OBS. Then you can stream your application. So to start to use this one, you have to extend this, which is my image, this image, and you can get the latest image here that I pushed, and you can copy you can modify the Nginx configuration, because you're using Nginx RTMP. So we can modify this and you can start to use. So this is the default config that we have. This one it's working fine, and it is mounting the S3 buckets into this location. So you don't have to worry about this mounting. And here, this is the 1980. I created a Spring Boot project whereby I'm doing the authentication to validate the key. When someone try to create a stream, we have to validate the user who is creating a stream to your application. So I did this with Spring Boot. So I will show you an example. So this is the link to the Spring Boot project. So you can go there and you can see what is in here. So if I do this, this is the Spring Boot project. So you can modify this Docker Composer YAML, put your details, and you can run this Docker Composer YAML. The Spring Boot project will start to work. So let's get started with the Spring Boot project. I already have this Spring Boot project opened on my computer. So what I did, I modified, the only thing that I did is to modify these values, right? I modified these values and this. So, and if I go to index.html here, we need to modify this. Let's copy. This is the bucket name, and you can come here This is the region. Let me change this region. We need to modify the region here. And we put your bucket name. So the URL, it's just bucket name, S3, your region, where the bucket is, and then the name of the file that you are going to add to our application. So what, after doing this, we just say Doer Composer. Let's make sure nothing's running. And what you have to do is to build. So it will build this build. If you open it will run. If you go to this Doer Composer, you can see it's going to this folder, which is RTMP, which is this one where you have a Doer Composer file, which this one that I showed you have to extend, and the index whereby we modify this URL. And this is the way we are going to view our streaming and the Nginx configurations. You can modify this. And here I just added the authentication that I told you. What happens when user authenticated? Here is just what happens when publish is done. Maybe you want to do something on your backend when the stream ends. So this is the URL, that the callback URL that you can code to your application. This is for authentication. If I go to this URL, let's go to the services. You can see we are validating the test key. This is test key is coming from OBS. Let me show you. Let me open OBS and we can go to settings. After going to settings, you click stream. So this is the URL that I showed you on the documentation. And here you just say key, then test key. This test is the one that we are using to stream, as I told you. If you want to choose a different name, you can just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. That's the name of the, that is the name that is being, that you are going to stream. It will be shown here. So that's the name of the stream. Then that's all. After doing this, we have to, and we are passing this key and the test key, and this test key is being validated into our Spring Boot project, which is here. It's being validated here. We are getting the key here, and this one is being called in our endpoint, which we are calling here. So what we can do now, let's run our application first. We just say app. So our application will start running, and the application is now running. So what we can do is to go to open our OBS and do this. So if I change this key, let's see, if I change this key, let's say, you know, the key I told you is test key. If I say test key 1 and start streaming, it failed on the authentication. You can see it failed on the authentication. So if there's an exception that is being shown here on our project, it's because invalid stream key. So what I can do, so you can modify that, you can take that key from the database. So that's the advantage of this implementation of the Docker image that I'm showing you. So each user can have a unique key so that they can use to log in, and this file will be the file name that you want to stream. Then I can start streaming now. And you can see the streaming has started. And if I come here to the project, you can see this logging. It's showing, you can see this is the URL that you connected. And you can see the name, it's a test. And the key is test key. So you can get these values. This is the values that I logged. I log these values here. So you can do whatever you want with the URL that you are going to pass. You can modify it to whatever you want. Then what you can do next now, if I go to the S3 buckets, let's go to the S3 buckets here. And if I go here, you can see the streaming has started and it's running. So what I can do with this streaming, if I reload here, you can see a lot of stream, the incrementation. So let me open the port 90. 98 where the index file is running. So this is our streaming. So the streaming has started, and you can play the old files, like what happens 2 minutes ago. You can play and it will start to stream. And everything is okay here. So this is our streaming, and I'm streaming this on the web. So you can do this. So these files, if you go to these files, you can see these files. Let's see which file. We are on 21. If I refresh this, you can see the files are increasing. It's now on 26. So it's keeping on updating. And if you open this, this is the file that is being streamed. This test, this is the name that I showed you. So we are playing this file, and this file contains the list of files, and you know how to stream these files. So it's more secure. It's no longer in MP4, a single file that you are going to stream. And with the low bandwidth, you can able to stream no matter how strong is your internet. People can view your streams. So something that you noticed here, this bucket is public. So if I click this bucket, you can see this is publicly accessible, so that you'll be able to stream this into the index HTML. So for us to be able to access that, we must make our bucket, this one, publicly accessible. So let me stop the streaming, and you can see the callback of stop streaming here. You can see the streaming is done. The publish done. It means we have done the streaming. So this is the callback. You can do what you think when the streaming ends to your backend. So that's the advantages of that callback. So the next thing that I want to show you is to set up this bucket and adding policies and calls, so that our index HTML. So I'm going to show you what we can do now. So let me stop this. And let me put it down so that you can delete the containers. So what I want to do here, let me delete everything that is in here, or I can leave it this here. It doesn't matter. So we want to create a new bucket. So let's create a new bucket, and I want to choose US East 1, this one, US East 1. And then I will just say Bisky live stream open source. This is the name of the bucket. So let me just copy the bucket name, and we are streaming in US East 1. So pick the US East 1 region, so that you can avoid the issue of security of S3 buckets. This issue with the version 2, version 4. So I prefer you to choose US East or US region. Then I can then click this one. You can see we now have this Bisky live stream open source. So far it's empty. So what I can do, let's go to our Doer Composer YAML. Like I told you, we have to update this only. Let's update this. This is the bucket name. Here, make it US East 1. So after doing this, the stream will start to be added into that bucket. So let me do this. So since I did this, so to avoid so here I need this bucket name. Let's modify our bucket name in the index. Let's go to this folder, index this one, and the bucket name, I will just change it to this one, Bisky live. Here I will just say US East 1. So after doing this, we can now run our command, which is Doer Composer build, so that it can build this file, the index HTML. So after building this, let's now run the application and see what's going to happen. So our application is now okay. We are now connected. So let's go to our OBS. Remember, we didn't change anything. We are on stream localhost, same port, and the key that we are going to use is just that one. Then you can say okay, and let's start streaming. The streaming is started now, and we are expecting to see files in this. So let's keep on refreshing to see if there's if you are going to have anything here. We are expecting to see those files. Let's reload. Yeah, you can see in this new bucket, you can see the Bisky live stream, right? It means it's now okay. So if you start if you open our URL for live streaming, let's reload this, and I want to inspect this. I want to show you the issues that you are going to have in here. Let me reload this. Okay, you can see we are trying to access this Bisky live stream up, and you can see we have the cause issue and we have security issue. We are not authorized to access this file in this region. So we need to add the cause policy, and we need to enable our bucket to be public. So let's first make this bucket public. We can go to permissions, and the first thing that you can do to make it public, let's edit this, and let's modify this, and let's save changes, and I just type confirm. We are done. It's now public, but we are not yet. I think if I reload here, we are not getting this error should be gone, but we are going to have the cause issue. Okay, let's fix it again. I think we are still not yet public. Let's add the policies again to this URL, to this bucket. So to add this, we need to go to bucket policy again, click here, and we need to click this policy generator. For now, copy this bucket ARN policy generator, and here it's allow. Let's change this here to S3. After changing this here, make it a star, allow everything, and here we need a get object. Let's look for get object. This one, tick this one, we just need this one only, and copy. Let's paste this, put a / and put a star. Yeah, this is the ARN that we copied. This one, we need this one. Then let's generate the policy, and let's copy this, and let's come back here and paste this policy, and let's click save changes. So if you come here, let's go back to this bucket. I think by now the public supposed to be publicly accessible. You can see it's now publicly accessible. So let me stop my streaming right now. Okay, let me leave it streaming. So let me reload here. So here we can see it's now okay. Error failed with an okay, but the problem that we have, it's the cause issue, and you can see no access control origin. So I have this cause, so let me copy this, and I can copy this. So this one is to allow all headers, all methods get head, origin, allow all origins, and expose these things, and you can come back here. Let's go to our permissions again. We have the bucket policy. We need to scroll down to this control origin resource, and let's edit this, and I'll paste this one, and I'll click save changes. So after doing this, let me test reloading now and see if everything is now fine. You can see we fixed the issue now, and everything is fine, and I'll be able to play the streaming, and it's now 4 minutes since it started, and all the things that I was showing you. So this is the streaming, and it's working fine. And if I go to OBS, it's just I'm showing this this camera, and it's just showing this camera only, so that's why you are seeing this. So this is our streaming, and we are done with our streaming, and everything is now okay. And you can see the bucket we created, this one, and we are sorted, and we choose US East 1 region, and these are the files of the streaming that you are doing, and we are able to create a streaming application. This is how you can do it, by creating a streaming application on your service. And for a mobile app, what you need is just this URL, and look for the library or dependence on your mobile app that can view the application, that can stream from this URL, and it's now streaming, and the OBS is broadcasting content, and everything is now okay here. And this is the index HTML. You can integrate with React, Angular, no matter which framework you are using. I just created one file, index HTML, this is just a simple index HTML to show the proof of concept. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you are new to this channel, may kindly subscribe, click the notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever we upload new video. Salut coders.